Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV DREZZED, and we're going to cover a little paranormal. I guess it's paranormal news. I don't know if this is considered paranormal news or this is just news, but we're going to talk about those drones in New Jersey and try to follow the craziness going on with all that. So this is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And yeah, we'll go out to the Mail, it was Daily Mail UK. And we'll talk a little bit about this. And then we're going to go out to X. There's all kinds of video footage of these things. Apparently, they're all over the place in New Jersey and even now in New York. And
they said some areas of PA by Philadelphia I saw somewhere else.
Yeah. So nobody seems to know. Well, let me put it to you this way. I think people know what they are. I think people in the government know what they are. They're just not
telling you what they are.
And some of their own, Congress people, senators are wondering what they are. And yeah, it's a weird thing going on. So I
think they'd be a lot more aggressive if they didn't know what they were and they thought it was from another country than they are being.
Yeah, because remember the whole weather balloon debacle or spy balloon debacle, the Canadian balloons. Yeah, I think they know damn well what they are. I think they know who is sending them. It could be possible that they are sending them.
I think it's an us thing, but anyway.
I think it's an us thing. Yeah, I personally think it's an us thing. But let's talk about this. So, this comes from the Mail. The latest footage of bizarre drones in New Jersey captured several craft orbiting each other over Somerset County, while at least 12 counties have reported sightings. It's actually increased, and now they're in New York as well. The video released this week shows 3 mystery drones in the air as 2 more move extremely close as if they are interacting with each other, and the third hovered for about 15 minutes. We're going to go out and look at some of this. I
kind of want to see this. And they know they're drones because they've got pictures of them up close?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said Monday night that the drones are very sophisticated, explaining the minute we get eyes on them, the drones, they go dark.
Well, that's interesting.
Right? I don't blame people for being frustrated, Governor Murphy continued, adding that he had spent most of Sunday coordinating the issue with both the White House and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in the hopes of getting answers. He said the state received 49 sighting reports on Sunday night alone, and this would have been a couple of days ago, with hundreds of locals sharing experiences on social media, and we're going to go out and look at some of those videos. On Monday, Picatinny Arsenal, the Army facility in Morris County, confirmed it has had 11 sightings of quote-unquote UFOs over its airspace.
See, what's weird to me is if you're a military base or you're the government and you have all these weird things that are invading your airspace, if you didn't know what they were, you'd think you'd be trying to shoot them down or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, yeah, they're there. We got reports. Okay. That's what makes me think it's more and more. It's like they know what it is.
Yeah, so guys, this has come from the UAP Reporting Center on X.com. In fact, maybe we'll pull that up and we'll take a look and see what's going on. Guys have found 3 mystery drones in the air. This is wild. 2 circling white lights disengage in midair, with one seemingly darting quickly to the right, and it's moving quick. Now, the footage I've seen, we'll go out and look at some of these, is you mentioned to me before that when you were younger...
I was going to mention that too, but it was not a drone, because we're talking like in the 80s, It wouldn't have been a drone back then, but when I was a kid, I think I mentioned it before, but I'll talk it again. We had gone and taken, we were one of the kids that were lucky that we had one of the, camcorder cameras. Yeah. My parents bought it and we used to play with it all the time, and we took it to get it fixed, and I remember we went and picked it up and it just gotten repaired. We tested it before we brought it home because you had to make sure it worked before you're allowed to leave. We did, worked fine. We're getting home, and on the way home, my mom keeps looking up the sky. Now, remember, my mom and dad are both pilots. My mom used to run an airport, so they know what they're looking at, and they know when there's a plane and when it's something else. So she kept looking up the sky, and I didn't think anything of it. And then we got home, and then she kept looking, and then we saw it. Then she said something, and we looked up, and there was this thing, and it was like a ball of colored lights. And it was weird because they'd have it was like a circle, but then there's like little balls around it, and the balls would like shoot away and come back, shoot away and come back. Like not too far, they'd go out a ways and come back in, and a ways and come back in. And then a couple of them shot out into the woods in different directions and into the woods. And we're like, oh, that's not good. But what happened was, the reason I mentioned the camera was because we got the video camera out, because we have the camera, and we started trying to record it. And as soon as we tried to record it, the camera would not work. It would not record anything. It just wouldn't. It worked just fine 20 minutes before, wouldn't work. And then as soon as it was gone, because then the big thing was gone, it worked again. So I have no idea. And that was in the 80s. So I don't think it was drones back then. But it was similar. When you're saying shooting out and coming back in, I was waiting to see the video because that's kind of what I've seen before. But I don't think it was drones back in the 80s. If they're saying this for sure is a drone.
So yeah, that's what people are saying. So it's become enough of an issue that they're grilling the White House on it. This is interesting. We're gonna get your headphones. We're gonna play this clip here. This is coming from UAP James on X.
Yeah, that was weird. They're calling it UFO, not UFP, because I thought UAP was the new terminology.
Right. Well, we don't know what they are, and they're flying, right?
I know, but I'm saying technically UFO is correct, but I was surprised they didn't call it a UAP.
White House National Security Advisor John Kirby on the New Jersey drones. We're concerned about it too. I cannot characterize for you definitively what these sightings are. Cannot or will not. That's, so let's listen to this.
Cannot isn't saying we will not,
If the president as commander-in-chief believed, based on the information that he'd been given, that there was a national security threat at play here, or even a public safety threat at play here, he would issue the appropriate directives to not only law enforcement, but perhaps even the military if that was needed.
That's what I'm not getting. If you have unidentified drones, and they said they were located near, military bases and arsenals and stuff like that, you would be thinking the government would be like, oh crap, get those things down. You'd be shooting them out of their sky or doing something. You wouldn't just leave them there unless you knew what it was. You know what I mean? Or knew they had permission to be there, or it was you doing it or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. We know there's not a national security threat. Well, if you knew that, how would you know that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How would you know?
I want to go back to something I said at the top. There has been no evidence of any of this activity in or near restricted spaces.
That's not what the senators said in the letter. They said, in fact, that they've been observed maneuvering near critical infrastructure, sensitive locations, including reservoirs and military installations.
That's what I heard.
And cited a concern from law enforcement about public safety threats because a medevac helicopter was prevented from transporting a seriously injured patient for care because of the presence of these drones.
I stand by my opening statement.
But it doesn't mean it's true. I stand by it. Doesn't mean it's true. The government lies? No.
The government lies?
Never.
Oh my God.
They would never. I don't think it's alien, but I definitely think they know what it is.
Well, let's go out and look at some of these. This is Mario Knopfel. I guess he's kind of a big deal on X. He's got 1.8 million.
But go you, Mario.
There you go, Mario. 10 large drones report hovering over LGA Airport.
That's a restricted airspace. Yeah. I thought you said they weren't in restricted airspace.
Well, this was what, last night, day before?
Okay.
Numerous sightings of large drones report over LaGuardia. Authorities investigating potential airspace breach. So we're going to look at a bunch of these.
Wow.
Here we go. This is LaGuardia.
Well, that's going to prevent takeoffs of planes.
Yeah. What are they doing?
Oh yeah, you can see their drones. Like you can see there's arms on them and stuff. Well, that's a plane. So the planes are still going anyway, which is surprising to me. Those planes landing. Those other ones are just drones. I don't know.
So that's LaGuardia. Here we go. Bergen Skies. Again, this is in Bergen County. Is that New Jersey? Yeah, New Jersey. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so Wednesday night. Where did it just go?
That's the community note says they think it's commercial aircraft.
Here it comes. Wednesday night, same exact pattern.
Well, if it was commercial,
as the last ones. Here it comes. You'll see it blinking through the trees.
no,
I have a screenshot of the flight radar at this time, which I think is about a little after 9 o'clock. There is nothing.
no, it just means there's nothing's transponding.
There's absolutely.
So now you do have some experience with airports.
Oh yeah, I grew up in an airport. I mean, my parents ran the local airport. I grew up around planes. My father is an aircraft mechanic. My parents owned planes. They both were pilots. I grew up around airplanes, so usually I can tell, and there's helicopters there too, and so I usually can tell the difference. Now, it's interesting you said that as soon as you get eyes on it, it blinks out, because we've noticed, and I know you've seen it too, it's usually in the same area, that we've seen it repeatedly. A big bright light, kind of looks like what they're showing, it's just a big light, and it's sitting there, and you'll see it for a second, and then it just blinks out and it's gone. Like, it just disappears. It's the weirdest thing. And we've seen it multiple times. Our son's seen it. You've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
On different occasions. And it's usually around the same place we see it. I've seen that lately. I don't know if that's related to this, but we've seen it several times in the last few months.
Yeah, I don't know. Now they're saying, now this is the UAP Reporting Center, said that drones were spotted over a major U.S. military base in Germany. All the sightings over the last month or so have been in correlation to U.S. military installations. So, reposted this, which so some people are saying it's a commercial.
So that's a plane. I'm sorry.
It's a plane of some kind, but we saw something very similar.
We did.
To this.
Now, if they're saying it's about 6 feet or whatever, when I'm reading the drones are in size, the plane we saw was not. It was gigantic.
Yeah.
And it was, we were coming back with our dogs, and it was dark, and it looked just like that. Maybe, no, it was a little more triangular in the front, I think.
It was more triangular.
But it had the light underneath like that and stuff.
The big red light.
And it was a plane. It was a plane. But it was very low. It was definitely under radar low, and it was quiet, but you could hear it, and it was definitely under radar, because it was not very far above our house. Like, I keep trying to explain to the kids how low it was, and it was so low. Like, it was above the trees, but not by a lot. Let's put it that way. And it came right over our house, and it wasn't going slow so much as it was just going over our house, and it was very low. I thought maybe they were in training, because we do know there's a military location that does, like, touch and go training. We had one last night with a military helicopter nearby, and they always are going in the same direction, which is usually towards Wrights-Patterson.
Yes.
And it came over us, heading in the same direction, and it was just really low, and it was definitely trying to avoid radar. But I would never have classified it as a drone. It was the size of a plane, but it looked like that. But that looks like a plane. That is not a drone. That's a plane.
Yeah, so this is Steve Skojek. He says, for weeks, UFO sightings have been increasing. The strangest, most persistent manifestation of the phenomenon is happening in New Jersey, where hundreds of sightings of strange, large drones disguised to look like commercial aircraft are flying around every night.
Well, they could be disguised like commercial aircraft.
They could.
But the drone, what we saw, I don't believe was a drone.
That
it was way too large. It was a military plane.
Something.
It was definitely military, and it was definitely.
I thought it was a stealth. I thought it was a stealth jet of some kind.
It was some kind of. The way it was shaped in the front, I would say it was, but it was definitely under radar.
He said they fly low and slow over residential neighborhoods and sensitive installations, and even military bases. Drones that broadcast no flight information as required by law.
Yeah, so you have to. What she said about the radar. If you're an aircraft, you have to have a designation, and it has to be turned on. The only times that they get away with this is if it's like military or something, that sometimes they won't have it turned on. So they weren't broadcasting.
And they said the drones that stay in the air for hours, which typical drones cannot do. It depends on what the energy source is. Now here,
I'm surprised no one's tried to shoot one down yet.
Well, lots of the people are like, why aren't we saying the military?
Around here, they just try to shoot it down. I'm just telling you.
So this is coming from Ethical Truther, and here's a news clip here. NBC News: growing mystery over drone sightings in New York and New Jersey. Let's take a look at this clip and see what's going on. They're actually trying to find out what they are.
Tonight, the investigation into reports of small car-sized drones hovering over New York and New Jersey is deepening.
Oh, it's slowing down.
Tonight, authorities in Toms River, New Jersey, launching their own drone offensive for a closer look.
Good.
Their eye in the sky, capturing one of the drones in motion.
You're not targeting or going after them, so to speak. Is there a methodology and reason why?
Well, right now we just want to identify what it is. The way it was explained, they're 2 feet bigger than our drones, or 2 times the size rather, so they're about 4 feet, and it looks like it's a fixed wing type craft. What concerns us mostly is that at this point nobody's seen any of these units taking off or landing.
This is a significant threat to U.S. national security.
Retired four-star
Unless it's ours.
and NBC News military analyst Barry McCaffrey tells NBC News there's good reason why local and federal agencies are treading carefully.
When you see something of this capacity, you wonder why it would be needed. What are they doing? It implies a heavy payload.
That looks like a plane to me. But if that's the drone, I got to tell you something. the other day, it was about, I don't know, a month ago or so. I don't know, time's kind of, it's all flowed together because we had the accident and everything. I was walking with our son, and we were coming back on the road towards our house through a development near us.
Yeah.
And we saw something like that in the sky, and we're like, is that a plane? And it was going really slow, like too slow to be a plane. We're like, how's this thing in the air if it's a plane? And it came up right above us, and we're like, that's a drone. I think that's a drone. And we're like, it's really weird. And it looked like that. And we thought because we thought it was a plane at first, but it wasn't flying in a way that a plane would fly. And we're like, just the way it was moving, a plane would move a lot faster. And I remember saying we were talking about it because we saw it, and we're like, that's a drone. And we watched it for a while, and it was definitely a drone, more like acting like a drone. It looked like that because you would have thought it was a plane. It was higher up, so you'd think it was a plane, but it wasn't. It seemed awfully kind of low for a plane, but it wasn't moving like a plane, but it had lights like a plane. Yeah. And we saw something like that, and we're in PA, and we saw something similar to that. I don't know. I'd say a month, 2 months ago. I don't have him here, or he could tell you the same story, but Squid King and I saw something similar to that.
Yeah, we've seen he's seen balls of light in the sky that would just like disappear.
That's what I said earlier. Yeah. And you've seen it, and I've seen it, and he's seen it. Yeah. But this one, I'm looking at this picture, if that is the drone, because we kept thinking it's a plane because it looked like it had lights like a plane, and we're like it was trying to pretend to be a plane, and we're like, it looks like a plane, but what is it? And we're like, that has to be. He said that has to be a drone. It has to be a drone because it can't be a plane because it's not. It's lower than what a plane would be, but it's not. It's too slow to be a plane. Like if it was a plane, it'd be like falling out of the sky. It's like that's not a plane. And we saw it, and it was moving. It was moving in different directions too. So we figured it had to be a drone, but we were like, we hadn't seen one like that before. And it looks like this. Like I hadn't seen this video before, but if you showed this to Squid King, he'd probably tell you the same thing because we saw something like it.
Did I tell you about? And this would have been, oh my gosh, probably about 6 months ago that I saw a drone when I was out by myself late at night, and it was like following the road. I think I might have told you.
No, I don't. I think you mentioned something, but how? And what?
It was later at night. I had to go get something. I was going from our house.
But it could have been someone with a drone.
Yeah, it was bigger than a typical drone, but I thought it was very weird because it was like right over the car, and it just kept like following along the road. And then when I crossed the road and headed out, and I'm like, why is somebody?
Was it like low or was it?
Yeah,
high?
It was low.
Okay, that's probably someone with a drone.
But it was late.
I know.
Like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
Well, I do know that there are people around here that use infrared drones because they're trying to find. They were tracking animals, or they were using people's missing pets.
Right.
But I'm saying the reason I mentioned, and it was just I do remember vaguely you mentioning that, but that's what I thought because it was low. But this thing it's up higher and it looks like a plane.
Yeah.
We saw something like this. I didn't know. We just automatically we knew it was a drone because it couldn't be a plane. And that was a month or two ago. I think yours is more likely to be just a local person. I know they have the infrared runs they're flying around because if people are missing their pets, they go to the area and they fly the drones around. And that was around the time that dog was missing?
Yeah.
And that would have been where the dog was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. It was probably them tracking that.
It was late at night. It was really weird.
Well, I know they were looking for the dog really late, and they were tracking it. I know they were tracking it they had the drones out. So I think that's probably what you saw. But because that doesn't make sense otherwise. But this one, we saw something like this.
Michael Marciano capturing these images on Saturday.
Coming right above my house.
The FBI.
That sounds like a plane, though.
Drone activity to NBC News.
That one sounds like a plane.
Setting up a tip line for people to report any sightings.
It's moving really fast now.
Swamp gas.
As the mystery in the sky continues. George Solis, NBC
It looked
News.
like a plane. We thought it was a plane at first, and it did make some noise, but it wasn't plane noise. Like the one I heard that guy posting, that sounded more like a plane to me. But like airplanes make a specific noise, and it didn't make like the plane type sound, but there was a sound.
Now this is interesting. This is Katie's on the case, and she says that she's seen it 7 times since November 11th in Texas. Just kind of sitting. Okay.
Was that them on the line?
Yeah. It's another one. This is kind of like what Squid King.
That's what we see when it goes dark. Yeah, that looks like what we see.
It's flashing, but it's probably artifacting or something.
That's what we see, and then it goes dark when you see it, and you stop and look at it. It goes dark. That's what we saw. It looks like that. It's like a ball of light, and then you look at it, and then it just goes dark. I have seen that actually multiple times. My son's seen it more than we have, but we've seen it.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. That's really weird. They said it's unusual. They said the military does not take this as a significant threat to our national security. It's assured it's our military.
Yes, that's exactly what I think.
I think it's our military.
Or they know exactly what it is.
Here's one, Mike Hahn. This was just a half an hour ago. The New Jersey drones are real. I've seen at least 5 over my house in the last week. I live about 15 minutes from naval. Yeah, from
but it's not anywhere near restricted airspace or dangerous things.
Yeah. There's one.
So the one we saw was moving. It wasn't hovering. It was moving. It did have lights. We thought it was a plane at first. But we're like, it's not flying like a plane. It's too slow to be a plane.
Yeah.
And then we saw it above us. It's too low to be a plane. So that's when Squid King said, oh, it's a drone. It has to be a drone. And we're like, but I was like, why would a drone be out here looking like a plane? And that's awfully big for a drone. And that's what I said to him when we saw it. I wish he was here because he could tell you about it too. But I never thought anything of it too much other than someone was flying a drone around and we thought it was weird.
So, being a Libertarian Post, New York State rep walks out of emergency UAP drone meeting because no one there was serious about finding out what they were.
All right, so you're here today. You were just inside. You walked out. Why?
I walked out because it was worthless. It was the biggest amateur hour presentation I've ever seen about anything, okay? It was ridiculous. There were no answers. Every question that was asked by a member of the state legislature, great questions, no answers, no resolution. They don't know where the drones are coming from. They don't know who's doing it. They don't know why they're doing it, but they say there's no credible threat. It was annoying to be there. I drove 2 hours to be here today, spent an hour in there. I got to drive 2 hours back. The biggest waste of 5 hours in my entire life.
So why do you think they called this meeting?
No idea. Why would you call a meeting to tell people you don't know anything? I have no idea. And then when the legislators would ask questions, there were no answers.
They know what it
is.
is.
Most frustrating
They know what it is.
The Colonel of State Police said that he had a helicopter of his flying above one of these drones, a 6-foot drone or something. I can't remember exactly what he said. And he felt unsafe for his helicopter, so he just let it go. Just let it go. Where'd it go? Who knows? Didn't want to follow it because you didn't feel safe. Is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? I mean, honestly.
Do they have any idea where these drones are originating?
No, they don't. They would. Maybe if they followed that sucker to when it landed, they would know.
Common sense.
This is a complete lack of effort, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they know what they are.
They would. Yeah, they don't want us to know what they are.
Technology. We have the people. We have the training. We have the resources. We have the money. It's just a lack of effort. I mean,
why?
I don't know. They should be saying, you know what they should have done today with productive use of our time if they didn't know anything? Come in there and say, hey, legislators, we don't know anything. But if you get us these 10 things, do these 10 things for us, and the governor calls in this kind of action, we can figure it out. Will you help us? And then we would have helped them. But instead it was just excuse after excuse and we know nothing. It was infuriating, and I got up and I walked out.
You've been in the service, right?
Yeah, I was an attack helicopter pilot, Apache helicopter pilot in the Army.
Okay.
And I helped stand up the initial unmanned aircraft training battalion in the aviation sector of the Army. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and these guys are not doing the job they need to do to figure out what's going on. And that is the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the state police.
And they're saying no threat to Americans.
They're saying no threat, but how the hell do they know?
Exactly.
They don't know anything. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it come from. They don't know nothing. When I walked in here today, I was actually pretty calm. I was excited to be here to find out a couple things. I thought they'd be like, hey, listen, it's FedEx, trying to figure it out. But instead I got the most ridiculous amateur hour briefing I've ever sat through.
They know what they are.
I know they know they are too. Yeah. Look down here. The New York State under state of emergency because they aren't able to identify the mystery drones. FBI to Congress, we just don't know. Military denies they're theirs. Of course they're going to. They're not going to tell them. $1 trillion in defense spending. This is what we get for answers. Because the answer is the answer. I think they know exactly what they are.
So this is coming from the New York Post. New Jersey residents threaten to deal with the mystery drones.
Yeah, good. Start shooting them down.
Yeah. If the government doesn't act. Right? They said residents are frustrated with the lack of answers regarding dozens of potential drone sightings in the skies above their homes. They're threatening to take action on their own if the government doesn't start providing answers. James Ward, a Jersey Shore realtor, shared a video on Facebook showing an SUV-sized drone above Island Beach State Park taken Sunday. It's difficult to judge their size in a clip, which showed a number of lights hovering in the sky. Dozens of drones in all directions. The caption reads, emerging at the same time, flying over the ocean, then heading in different directions. What do you think? Why hasn't anyone shot one down to look for a serial number to trace it back to the operator? I think it could provide a clue.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you register a drone of a certain size, especially if you were going to use it for video or pictures, you have to register it with the FAA. You're not allowed to not register it with the FAA. I think it varies by states, but overall, if you're going to be using it for photos or if it's of a certain size, it has to be registered with the FAA so it can be tracked and they can know, they don't want drones flying around an airport and it's a danger to others, and things like that. And they have to know where you're at so you're not taking pictures of things you're not supposed to take pictures of. So they're not registered. Again, they're not transponding, and they're not registered, and they're definitely of a size that should require them to be registered.
So yeah, they said the talk of taking matters in their own hands came after the governor, Phil Murphy, a Democrat, and 2 Republican congressmen called on the federal government to shoot down. Yeah. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have been pressing investigators and regulators for answers. The source of the drones remains a mystery. It's not even clear that all the flying objects are drones and not manned aircraft.
Well, if they're big as a car, they could be.
They could be. Experts note the navigation lights are a big hint. Whoever's flying them isn't trying to keep them hidden.
No. And the one we saw, we were sure it wasn't a plane. It had to be a drone, but it was big. It had lights like a plane.
They said upon review of the available imagery, it appears many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft. They're being operated lawfully.
Well, I do think a lot of them are people are mistaking airplanes for, like that one, I'm pretty sure the one they showed, it was an airplane by the sound. I'm like, that sounds like a plane.
Yeah, it's actually an offense to shoot down an aircraft.
Yeah, you can't just shoot down somebody's plane.
There are many people in the past who took matters in their own hands, if you will, and shot down a drone, most of them in small areas. Even small drones have gotten fines and jail time. Don't do it. We don't know what they are. We don't know if they're armed. We don't know if they're, scanning your house. We don't know anything about it, but this is fine. Don't, hey citizens, don't do anything that you might regret because you might go to jail. You don't want to go to jail, do you?
Well, you don't want to shoot someone down if it's somebody in it. You know what I mean?
That would suck if there's somebody in it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't want that. We don't want that. But there's definitely something going on. The fact that they're being seen, and I do agree, a lot of them probably misidentifications. But there's a lot of them being seen, and I'm really certain that we saw was similar to what they're showing. The fact that they're not acting very, they're not in a very hurried, try to deal with it situation tells me they already know what they are. Whether it's ours or somebody else's, I think they already know what they are, and that's why they're deflecting.
Yeah.
And that's why they're so sure that it's not a national security threat. It's not a threat against the citizens.
Yeah. It said, asked if Americans are at risk. FBI Assistant Director of the Critical Incident Response Group. Why do we need all these groups?
Well, that's why they want it. That's why they want it to streamline things.
Robert Wheeler told Congress, "There's nothing that's known that would lead me to say that, hey, that they're dangerous. We just don't know what they are, and that's the concerning part. How do we know that they're not armed? How do we know that these drones
aren't spraying something?
They're spraying something, or they have a gun. Seriously, you could fly a drone over an event and just start shooting into the crowd.
But trust us, bro, isn't gonna work with people anymore.
Yeah. There were 49 reports of drones on Sunday alone, most of them in Hunterdon County. I mean, at least back in our day, we had proper UFOs that were like the size of a football field and didn't make any noise.
Did you see this one? In Southern California on Wednesday, federal prosecutors announced the arrest of a Chinese citizen who was using a hack drone to take photos of the Vandenberg Space Force Base from a mile up.
Oh? Yeah.
But they went after that person.
Yeah, because they caught I am inclined to think this is it's either ours or it's one of our enemies scoping out military bases, because like I said, even the craft that we saw, which I thought was maybe one of ours. It was a spy plane of some kind, but it was very low.
I thought it was training.
Yeah, and it was headed toward Wright-Patterson.
It was definitely evading radar, and my hope was it was for training.
Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I mean, by the time you hear this, I mean it's updating daily. There might be more information on it, but as of Friday the 13th,
dun dun dun
dun dun dun, there's not a lot of information on this. I do think that the government should be acting.
I don't think anybody's thinking they're UFOs, like
No.
aliens. I think everybody's thinking
I
they're
don't think
UFO
they're
by the purest sense. But I don't think people think it's alien. They just think it's either some other person spying or we're doing it ourselves, but somebody's doing it.
Okay, here's some of the comments. They say, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't manned aircraft have to follow a flight plan? If this is true and there's no flight plan that's been filed, then by deduction, they're not manned aircraft.
Well, or they just don't want you to know because they're not transponding either, and they're supposed to transpond. They're not, especially if it's a manned aircraft.
I agree with Texas Mom. Our federal government knows what these are and where they're from. They're gaslighting the American public by making official statements that their existence can't be confirmed.
I agree.
I think maybe come January we might get some more answers. But we'll see, guys. I don't know. But as of Friday the 13th, there are no official answers from the government, and they're not going to fess up anyway because they don't want people to feel unsafe or be like, hey, why you spend so much money on these? What's going on here? What's going on, guys? Gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.